Hello and welcome to my channel MindMeld. Today we are going to talk about an experiment Universe 25. The experiment known as Universe 25 was conducted in the late 1960s and early 1970s by behavioral researcher John B. Calhoun. It was designed to study how populations behave when all physical needs are met but social space becomes limited. Calhoun wanted to understand the effects of overpopulation, not through scarcity of food or water, but through crowding and social stress. The experiment became one of the most discussed behavioral studies because of how dramatically it ended. Universe 25 was a carefully constructed, enclosed environment created for mice. Inside this space, food and water were unlimited. Nesting material was always available, and there were no predators or diseases. The only limiting factor was space. Initially, a small number of healthy mice were introduced into this mouse utopia, with abundant resources and safety. The population began to grow rapidly. Early on, social behavior appeared normal. Mice formed nests, reproduced, and followed natural social hierarchies. As the population increased, the environment became crowded, even though resources were still plentiful. This is where changes began to appear. Social roles started to break down. Dominant males became increasingly aggressive, while weaker males were attacked and driven away from social groups. Many females, exposed to constant stress and aggression, began to neglect or even attack their own offspring. Infant mortality increased sharply, not due to lack of food, but due to disrupted social behavior. Over time, Calhoun observed the emergence of distinct behavioral groups. Some mice withdrew completely from social interaction. These mice spent most of their time eating, drinking, and grooming themselves. Calhoun referred to them as the beautiful ones, because they appeared physically perfect but showed no interest in mating or social bonding. Reproductive behavior declined drastically, even though the mice were healthy and capable of reproducing. Eventually, births stopped entirely. The population peaked and then began to decline, not because of starvation or disease, but because social collapse made normal life impossible. Aggression, isolation, and apathy dominated the environment. Even when Calhoun later removed some mice and placed them into less crowded conditions, many were unable to recover normal social or reproductive behavior. The damage, it seemed, was permanent. The results of Universe 25 led Calhoun to conclude that social structure is just as important as physical resources for the survival of a population. When social roles break down and individuals lose meaningful interaction, a society can collapse from within, even in a state of material abundance. He described this phenomenon as a behavioral sink, where overcrowding leads to destructive behaviors that ultimately cause extinction. Universe 25 is often discussed beyond biology as a cautionary metaphor for human societies. While humans are far more complex than mice, the experiment raises important questions about urban overcrowding, social isolation, loss of purpose, and the psychological effects of living in dense populations. The core message of Universe 25 is not that overpopulation alone causes collapse, but that without healthy social bonds, communication, and meaningful roles, even a perfect world can fail.